Alright, guys, so this is episode number 69 from the P Alpha Music Podcast. Make sure that you subscribe. I'm your host, Pablo J. Ruiz Vargas. Today's topic is going to be very important, is regarding the relationship with friends. Do my friends influence my life? Okay, that's going to be our question for today's podcast. If any of your friends has any influence in your daily life. Stay tuned. I know what's the simple question or the easiest question. I'm gonna leave that for the end. Like I said, I'm gonna just have a list what I think could be one of the factors why um, friendships on friends influence who you are. You know how human beings are very in tune with their friendships. Okay, that means that when we associate ourselves with different people, we tend to really, for some reason, change our behavior. And you can describe what is the factor that goes to us as human being influenced by other human beings. And I think this goes back way back to the tribal caveman days on how we want to please people, how we want to make sure that people are completely pleased with our behavior. So we try to just get influenced by others people behavior, and that way we can just make sure that we fit in. Okay, but right now we're gonna do it from the perspective of the modern ages, right? So let's say the present days, how your friends or whoever you're hanging out with is influencing you and you don't even notice, right? Do my friends influence my life? Yes, they have influenced my life, and they will always influence my life, or whoever I'm just hanging out with or communicating with, they're gonna always influence my life in some regards, whether it's good or bad. But here we're gonna identify whether it's a yes or no in their situation that you're living currently. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Friends affect the way you think and move about, think, and let's say and influence your family or life. This is true. Um, for some reason, you you get this feeling that friends are like a family, right? And then they can influence you to just behave differently inside your biological family. Okay, friends can affect that bound of tribal meaning between you and your friends, right? Let me just explain. Maybe I'm just rounding things a little bit too much. Um, the reason friends influence the way you think is because it is hard for you as a human to always have a very strong opinion, right? So you always want to make sure that you're not argumentative or confrontational. So that's why we try always to please our friends or those that are close to us, right? Now, I'm not saying this is wrong or bad, right? In my personal opinion, I don't like that because you always need to have a very strong opinion or a strong stand. You should always live your life like you're leading instead of just following. Okay, there's nothing worse than having someone living their life pleasing others with a mask. Okay, so don't be the person always carrying a mask and pretending someone that you're not. Okay, and you're with your friends, it's like Tony Robbins and Les Brown says, family always have their own moments, right? But they should not influence how you live your life. Okay, So let's go to the other one. They influence the way your personal preferences and lifestyle. Let me read that again one more time. They influence the way your personal preference and lifestyle are, let's say, lived, right? I forgot to just really finish that sentence. Sounds kind of incomplete. So they influence the way your personal preference and lifestyle are evolved, right? Every time that you hang out with people, notice how you always gonna move towards certain things that you think you like, okay? Or you think that is congruent with who you are. And notice that all these things are similar with the group that you are spending time with. The reason is that in order for you to bond, you start getting these behaviors, right? And you're trying to internalize these behaviors. And this is so very important, and I'm gonna discuss in later lists why this is good and bad, and why this has to be just picked with a pinch of salt. Your personal preferences, right? It could be that they can expose you to some preference that you never knew that you were open to like or love, right? Or they can open a can of worms where all of a sudden you just open this area of your life that you hate. Okay? Now the problem with that is that you have the two sides. You have the angel and the devil. Okay? And based on those preferences, the thing is that you don't notice those preferences at the glimpse. But what happened is the more the time pass, it become obvious, right, that your preferences has been influenced by your friends, whether they're good or bad. Yeah. Okay. So that's why in that era, yes, it is true. They will just mold your preferences and your lifestyle. Okay? If you hang out with a lot of people, they like to they have a lifestyle, but hip hop, you will end up like that. If you are people that like to just go out, just do drinks every weekend, you're gonna end up like that. If you are people that just like to just use drugs all the time, and you think you're not gonna be there, sadly you're gonna be there, right? Now, if you have people that like to just relax, read books, and all the other stuff, you're gonna be influenced as well, and you might be exposed to some preferences that you thought to yourself, oh, you know what, maybe I need to just give it a second look, right? I never thought that reading was something that I would just like, or oh, I didn't know that do building websites is something I will like, or hey, all of a sudden playing golf is not a bad idea. See, those preferences start coming in and start influences your lifestyle. Next one is the nature of your friendship in your future. Think about this, and I'm trying my best to just refrain these conversations. Okay. When you see your friends, how you see in the next 5 years or even 10 years, you think that you're closest to your goals with these kind of friendships? Yeah, exactly. So what this means is that your friendships can determine, you can see what could happen if you still hang out with those friends in the next 5 to 10 years, right? But the thing is that we can just avoid the reality that something could be true, or we can just acknowledge the reality and do something about it. Okay? Have you ever noticed how the same friends that you had in high school, middle school, you still talk to them, but all of a sudden you have a problem? you still stuck in that mindset from middle school or high school. So that's what it is. It's like Dan Pena says, tell me who the five people you hanging out with, and I'm gonna tell you your future. That's how it is. Okay? The people that you hang out with will determine who you will become in the next 5 years, or who you really are. Okay? Bird of a feather fly together. Okay? Whether this is good or bad, or these are bad influences, good influences, doesn't matter. Bird of the feather fly together. A little tongue twist, because you know what's crazy? I've been speaking English all my life, but I'm still have problem with some of the words, because my original or native language is Spanish. I come from Puerto Rico, so even here our Spanish is not as good. So I have a problem with my tongue every time that I try to really, pronounce some words in English. It just costs me a little bit of work. I'm not saying everybody's like that. It's just my case. I'm trying to do my best to connect one syllable with the next letter, because even if you notice, sometimes you can say a vowel, but then it's connected to a different letter, right? So the sound is different. So the muscle needs to just get used to go from one inflation to the other, and that transitional inflation or movement with the tongue require an extra work. Is that crazy? Yeah. Sidetrack. All right. So the last one. The stronger your social network gets, the healthier and longer your lifestyle. Had you ever went to a conference, right? Had you ever been with sales associates, people that want to make sure that make things happen, people that are trying to make things happen, and they really trying their best to move forward to reach those goals. Like every time that you associate with people like that, things change, and not only that, but it does push you a little bit to achieve certain things, right? I met so many people that, man, they're really above my level, but they force me to really push myself and achieve certain things. Crazy enough, these people are outside the music industry, and some of them are, comedians, sales associates, even, it is something else. Hanging out with people like that, where you see that they work hard, they have a strong work ethic, and then they make things happen, it does make you a little bit, open to the fact that, hey, I might have to just really throw my fastball a little bit harder, right? Maybe a 91 will make the difference for 90 miles per hour. Maybe it don't, right? Because it does. The difference is just 1 mile per hour, but in reality, it is different. There's a difference. In this one, it will determine what your business side or your financial side could become if you really focus in that last one. So overall, you have some influence, and your friends will influence who you are in the next couple of years. Okay? In my case, friends are not something that I have always in my side, right? And I do have my friends, but I try to just extend that last one, which is the networking. Trying to do what people are doing, and it's working already. Just hang myself, boom. Because I know the more I can just reach to those kind of people, I can just basically do what they're doing. And that's the hardest one. It's easy to go to your friends that are hanging out in the weekends because it's just pure procrastination. Think about every time that you spend time with your friends hanging out in the weekends for 6 or 7 hours. When you start adding up, they're not they they're not hours anymore that you wasted. We're talking about days, weeks, a month, even years. A year that you will never get back. Do the math. If you hang out Friday, Saturday for 6 hours, that's 12 hours, right? 12 hours. You multiply by 2 weeks, that's 24 hours, that's one day. 4 weeks, that's 48 hours. That's what? Um, that's 2 days. Now you multiply that by 12, right? Doing some weird math here. So that's 16, 8, 9, 8, 4. That's close to help me out here. That's 576 hours. Okay, in 1 year, right? Whatever is that amount, I don't know. But it is more than I say couple days, right? You're not gonna recover that. That is gone. That's time gone. And I'm being conservative, right? Because we know when we go for a weekend hangout, we hang out for more than six hours. Let's be honest. If we start the day early, 8 o'clock, we finish at 3 in the morning, right? That's more than 6 hours. Okay, so let's keep it real. And you do that, frequently, you're never gonna go get anywhere. I've been living in the city for years now, so I know how things go, right? And there's a lot of masks, right? People pretend to be something they're not. You can see it, right? I don't want to live like that, right? I don't want to pretend something I'm not, right? I don't want to be someone with a mask. Now, let's just see what kind of people are the one influence me to be that kind of person. You have to do that homework. You have to do that homework. That's not my homework. If you're a musician, make sure you're surrounded by good musicians, right? They're not struggling your ego. They're mostly just telling you get down. You're a business person, make sure you're hanging out with people that talk about business. We all struggle in business, but at least we just trying to let's get this thing done. Make sure that you're hanging out with people, that they want to push each other. It's important. It's not gonna guarantee anything, right? It could be far from a lot of things, but at least get you closer from what you need. And I might just be talking to myself right now because a lot could be projection. Don't get me wrong. But some of the things, it's just if you read the literature of self-development and self-help, right? Everything just connect, right? If you don't have no friends, you can still be influenced by these kind of material, right? Mentors. It's better to be alone than have bad company. Have you ever heard people saying it's better to have no credit than bad credit? Something like that, something along those lines. Make sure that you're really understanding what kind of influences you've been receiving daily. Because in the next couple of years, you might be far away from your goals and what you want to really become. Do my friends influence my life? Of course. If you say no, you're delusional. I hope the people that not listen to this are delusional, because this is not a delusional episode. This is real stuff. Influence friends to influence your behavior, your preferences, and all of the above. So make sure that you start being selective of people that are around you. This was episode number 69. Do my friends influence my life? This is your host, Paulo Jerry Ruiz Vargas from the P Alpha Music Podcast. I'm out.